Are you guys tired of the campgrounds always being full or being parked so close to your neighbor that, you can smell what they had for dinner last night from their sewer hose? Well, what if you could get off grid? What if you could go wherever you wanted? And what if I had my first look at Jayco's newest offering, the 4x4 off-road terrain? Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be fun. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd. I would say ambitious RV, but I actually took a trip down here to Jayco today to get my hands on one of the very first terrains that's come off the production line. And I really appreciate that they got me in here, that they pulled one up for me to get the footage today. If you like the fact that we actually took the trip to Jayco to get this for you instead of waiting for them to roll in the dealerships, well, hit that like button, subscribe, and say, hey, either thanks Bishas or thanks Jayco or whatever. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What are we getting into here? This is an RV that lets you camp your way, your style, your time, your place. You take it where you want, when you want. Again, can't get a reservation at the campground? Who cares? Tired of the noisy neighbor at the campground? Who cares? Move. You can go wherever you want with this thing. And part of the reason for that is the power system on this is very different from what you find in most RVs or motorhomes. This does not have an onboard generator, which at first is going to make people go, what? Instead, what this has is a 10.2 kilowatt lithium ion mega battery, basically. This thing has a huge power reserve with 3 different ways that you can charge this thing, including factory solar. You can charge it when you're going down the road, a few other different things that you can do on this. So it's something where, especially if you're going to live a very mobile lifestyle, you can effectively live untethered with this thing theoretically, as long as you want, as long as you know how to keep an eye on those battery reserves, and the tech package they have in this has made it very, very easy. Now, something I really respect that they did here is they maximize the storage in every little nook and cranny. It's what I call not an ounce of space gone to waste. And when you're in a small rig like this, that is so, so important. But, it's just as good at getting there as it is at being there, and that's what I'm really excited to show you today. So if you appreciate, I'm going to show you some good, along with a couple little hiccups that I kind of experienced along the way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button knowing that we're going to give you that fair information, and let's get started. But most importantly, all right, so whether it's inside or outside, I'm going to kind of take like 2 stabs at everything, because the thing is, in a rig like this, everything serves 2 functions. So we're actually starting like in the back, obviously working our way forward. Probably didn't need to explain that, but I think you get the idea. Beginning things here in road mode. So this is on a like a Mercedes Sprinter style chassis, which one of the things that I love about this is one of the only chassis where a big long-legged dude like me, I actually can't sit with the seat all the way back. This has such expansive legroom that it's uncomfortable for me. Now, what's also cool about this is that because these are easy to drive, like there's sometimes I've met different, folks and families who they say, well, they have to drive it. I can't drive it. I'm not comfortable driving something that big. This just drives like a van. It doesn't drive like a big, scary motorhome. And speaking of driving, this has things like, blind spot warning, lane keep assist. Like, there's a bunch of really cool things on this where if you're not familiar with driving something like this, like maybe you're used to having a few more windows to peek around, there's all kinds of different systems and electronics to make that, simple, safer, and easier for you. Naturally, like all of our controls are very driver-centric. They're all circled around you. And over here next to like the, the heated seating, there's actually driver 1, 2, and 3 controls. Like there's all kinds of different stuff going on in this. Easy adjust power mirrors, all sorts of simple, easy things. Can't talk, but I can point the camera at it all day. Check this thing out for size. Look at this. By the way, I work alone. Setting up camera shots like this, that's a pain in the neck, man. Anyway, what I want to show you here is I'm a tall, lanky guy, but with this seat all the way back, and frankly, I keep reaching down beside here, but all the seat adjustments are on the side, they're all power. Look at this. I have to straight stick my arms all the way out to reach this thing. And I am, you can't really see this, but I am stretching my toes to hit these pedals up here. Instead, this is one of the only styles of motorhomes, these cabs and chassis, where I actually have to get these things slid up a little bit to feel even moderately comfortable here. You know, just be able to just rest my feet on the pedals instead of having to, you know, really stick my toes out there. So that is one of the things I really like about these, is how much space they give bigger people. And frankly, folks, in terms of just general comfort for ride and handling, these are some of my very favorite chassis to drive, because they just, you can maneuver them so easily. They don't feel so bouncy on the road. They have the acceleration there when you need them. By the way, on that note, one of the cool things that I found test driving this is it's got a little bit of a delayed turbo. So when you first just start touching the pedal lightly, if you want to like creep into a parking space real easily, it doesn't really kick in full power. When you put the hammer down, well, this thing gets up and it gets going. Now, a few more fun notes up here in the cab. You can create, of course, the steering contest station if needed. But then again, the idea here is that if, you know, when you reach your destination, instead of losing the cab in this small space, you can completely pivot these chairs to face backwards toward, well, the rear, the second row of seating, effectively, that we really haven't even seen in too much detail yet. But look at this. Like, I'm a sloucher. I like a longer seat. It has a little bit of a little, I don't know, slouch pouch. What do we want to call the little Inspector Gadget extendo seating right there? That thing's cool, man. That really speaks to me. And you know, I could use one of these liar pants on fire fish angle lenses like this. But frankly, folks, I want you to have a better, more real look at exactly how this is all spaced in size. You know, no zoom, this is exactly how she looks. So back here, look at the rear seating. Down below, you've got household and USB plugs, then you got a black circle. That is a heater vent from what this thing has, basically a combination water heater furnace. It's a diesel burner. It actually feeds off of your fuel tank. The cool thing is it won't go below 3/4 of your fuel tank, so you're not going to leave yourself stranded somewhere. You know, easy master controls located right over there, including the Dragonfly control system, which I'm personally becoming a big fan of those things. And I've seen a few other rigs like this, but a lot of times this is just one solid bench. I really prefer the fact that it has two separate seats here, and I'll tell you why. That ability to split those seats. And I know that that doesn't look like, wow, but I'm telling you, you know, it's like I'm on airplanes all the time now, and man, sometimes you just get sit next to pushy McArmrest, and this one doesn't have an armrest. That space that you can put between you is awesome. Also, kind of, again, like an airplane. What if you want to recline, but the other person there doesn't? Well, this style of split seating allows for a little more individualized comfort like that. So, you know, you're looking at this thing, but you might be going, sure, but where do I eat? There's actually a couple places we're going to find, but the first one, right here, right now. Because this has one of those true, like, twist and shout, does everything Lagun tables right here. And what's cool about this is, like, I'm only doing this all one-handed. If you want to, like, you know, twist it different directions, you can open this thing up and, you know, like double your space to actually have like a, you know, a kind of couples dining arrangement, or maybe small family guests playing cards. I don't know, you know, deal them out. You can do a little bit of whatever you want to do here. It's just, you know, one little thing that does a little bit of everything. Now, as long as I'm standing down here looking up top, you do have one of those big XL vent fans, so that if you don't want to run that air conditioner back there, you don't have to. Now, we're going to talk more about the air and how we can run it and how long when we go outside. First, I want to start cracking open all these little compartments. So first, beginning with what is like our control center. One thing I want to mention, your Dragonfly like master control center, you can do a ton of stuff off this. Also have a live view of exactly what's happening with your battery. Like right now, I'm not recharging, I'm discharging because I'm using more than I'm getting back. But there's a couple different things here, like the battery reset system, the you know, the Renergy electric system up here. Kind of, you have a couple different things like your charge controller. Now, that right there is yet another thing from Renergy. It's another monitor that kind of goes with the battery. Basically, it comes with a kit, and Jayco said, why not? We'll go ahead and sell it. This is actually your power up-down bed control
behind a key lock. So if you want to make sure someone's not going to mess with this thing, you can pull the key and keep it away from everything. And this stereo actually is separate for just the outside. So you do have like indoor, outdoor entertainment options. Now, anytime you're looking at bathrooms in a small rig like this, it's always a little bit tricky. I think they did the best that they possibly could here overall. So first of all, in terms of headroom, yeah, it's a little tight in here. Like walking around in this, it's just big enough for me. But, you know, standing in the shower, I'm definitely going to be ducking. But this is a specialty kind of product made for some specialty use. I think that just kind of goes with the territory. Now for bathroom function, yes, it has a privacy curtain, but my legs were kind of hanging out there into the hallway a little bit. So you got to kind of, you know, think about that, plan accordingly. If you look up top here, you've got that little silver thing looking at us. It's got a little, you know, clothes rack if need be. And when you could actually, some people don't want to use the bathroom. Some people want maximum storage. You can repurpose this effectively into like a full-on giant pantry, essentially. Now, from the bathroom, which is over there on the right, just kind of giving you a reference point, coming over here, this has a surprisingly good kitchen. When I looked at a little thing like this, I was not expecting much. But, you know, everything in this does two things. First of all, look at the location of the refrigerator. You know, it's kind of off to the side, but this is that big sliding door. So if you just want to crack the door open, reach around the corner, get a bottle of J water, well, you know, you could absolutely do that and be good to go here. But from there, it's like everything just starts opening up and being crazy multifunctional. For instance, that entire countertop basically slides open. There's also a portable induction cooktop that comes with this. A little handy tip that I've learned on those, because you need different pots and pans to use induction stuff. But if you take a magnet and put it on the bottom of a pot or pan, typically, not 1,000% of the time, but typically if it attaches, magnetizes, then it's probably induction capable. But if you're not sure, it's probably not a good thing to guess. Now looking around here, nice kind of pantry storage up top. There's our little shore power cord. Also, another little hideaway extending countertop kind of thing right there. And you can use it, like you see how it folds in the middle? You can use it fully extended or only halfway, depending on what you're looking for. And then again, all the way down, storage to the floorage, ladies and gentlemen. Yet, we still, ooh, I'm bumping the camera on stuff. I'm sorry. Tight quarters, apologies. I'm used to these big giant fifth wheels and park models and whatnot. Drawers. And as you can see, from the counter to the floors, this Jayco's got some drawers. Name that reference right there. I love that I can sneak things like that in on professional time. Now we are in, again, kind of road mode still currently here. But what's nice about this is, you know, depending on what's going on, you could have this, you know, wide open for cargo space, but almost like, you know, the overhead cab power drop bed in something like a Precept Jayco Class A. Sorry, had to get those drawers out of the way. This has just that easy push button power drop bed. But again, you have a key to lock it in place so that, you know, it stays out of the way, or it stays where you put it in case somebody wants to mess with you. Now that's the bed all the way down. We're gonna get a better look at it in cargo mode from the outside. I just kind of want to, you know, give you the idea, give you the visual. One of the things they did I think is very interesting is if you look at it, they put these little extra spacer block cushions right here that you could like put your pillows on top of, and they built this out. We're going to talk a little bit more about that outside, but it really adds some very needed space. This is going to be solid for one person, two people. Well, you better be close, you better know one another, and probably in a more biblical fashion.
All right, so just like the inside, everything on this has like two functions, so I kind of figured I'd go around it twice on the outside here. First, again, kind of closed up for travel mode, road mode as it were. And one of the things that I thought was very cool when I kind of kicked in the doors down here is they upfit the tires to that more BF Goodrich like knobby tire thing there. Now, you see that done in like a lot of little ultralight trailers. Like, we got the off-road tire package, brother. The thing with that is, I always kind of laugh. It's not like those off-road tires are helping a travel trailer not spin out in the mud, but these literally might. Not to mention, if you got a little schmutz on your feet, the entry exit pads on these, very nice if your shoes are all kind of plugged up with whatever is, on the road or the trails. Now, up front here, you have Coney shocks added to this, which, here's the simplest way I can describe these. They're responsive. They will adjust the ride that you receive kind of almost in reaction to the terrain or the road conditions that you're throwing at them. So the springs will effectively, the more they're getting jostled and the harder, the stiffer they'll get to soak up those harder shocks and jolts before they get translated not just into the body of the RV, but like into your body. You know what I mean? It's a very cool ride and handling thing, which is a huge part of Jayco. They're all about ride and handling. Now on the back here, you also have a heavy-duty rear stabilizer, and in fact, I think I can give you a look at these. Those Coney shocks, by the way, not just on the front, but the back as well. Let me get you right down here, all up in the undercarriage. You can see that the Coney shock there and that stabilizer bar. That's doing a lot for us. So if you do happen to be towing something, and you have a little bit of the tail wagging the dog situation, that will greatly help you just maintain steady, straight arrow control. The other thing is, if you're getting passed by like a semi-trailer or just some wicked crosswinds, if you're going across the plains or anything like that, it will make a huge difference in just keeping everything on the straight and narrow. Now, down here, you see our factory towing hitch. This has a 3,500 pound tow rating, if I've done the math correctly. It's funny, as I was almost a math major, but I screw that up all the time on RVs. It's kind of funny. And again, storage is at a premium here. I love that they gave us the sewer hose caddy so you don't have to get pink eye by mixing your black tank stuff along with your camping chairs. Now you might be going, what is this? Is that a Gas Grill Quick Connect? No, it's not. That is actually a hookup to an onboard air compressor that we'll see when we actually get under the hood over here, which is kind of cool. Now, one of the things that's a little interesting is you see like the little pop out there in the bed area where that window's located. That's something Jayco actually builds up onto these so that, when you are in the bed space, it just adds that little bit of extra comfort. You get a little less coffin factor from it as a result. We saw the bathroom and the shower in this. One of the things I think a lot of people are going to like, though, is it is a cassette style toilet. And what's kind of neat here is they've given us did I leave I did. Okay, we've got a 3-stage light fixture right there, right above our cassette system. So that is the toilet, but you might notice it does have a gray water outlet because it does have an onboard, fresh and gray tank. So kind of keep that in mind. Although remember, with that shower miser, when you're waiting for the shower water to heat up, you are not wasting one precious drop of all that shower water right there. Now, something I want to mention on this right here is you can get this one in a couple different exterior looks. So silver is the standard, but there's also a couple different paint packages that you can get along with these right there. The one thing I want to make perfectly clear on those paint packages, though, is that it is a matte paint. And if you don't know what that means, so this is that extra kind of more than just surface deep information I want to give you here, because if you're not careful, you might actually scratch the surface of your RV more than skin deep. What I'm getting at is compared to like a normal automotive glossy paint that we're used to, where you can take it to any general car wash, you can grab a bristle brush, you can scrub all over that thing and it does just fine, right? A matte paint you need to handle a little more carefully. Basically, you want to effectively hand wash it with say a lamb's wool glove or something very, very soft and non-abrasive like that. Otherwise, you're going to see your scrub patterns in this. Now, I always like to give you a counterpoint. The paint packages look incredible. I've got to see all of them today. Oh, they look so good. But we've talked about how this is made for maybe off-road, off-grid. You're going to take this in the sticks and the bricks and the mud and the blood. Well, tree branches and bushes are part of that kind of equation, and I don't know that I want to worry about those scuffing up my paint job or something like that. So I can understand how the paint package works in a little bit of contrast. It's just a personal preference how you want to go about it. I want you to understand the full straight skinny on this and what you're getting from it, and I would really be interested. What do you think? Given what you've seen and what I've told you, would you stick with the base just good looking silver, which I kind of like because it looks very unassuming, but it's so space age and cool inside? Or would you rather go with a full paint package, understanding that you just got to be a little more careful in how you take care of it? And even though it is a little unassuming, it's got a couple of those beefy qualities, like the tires, like that big light bar and the rack on top. It kind of looks like, I don't know, man, this looks like a Jurassic Park cruiser. You know, if you're looking to take a luxury day checking out the Velociraptors, this is, I think, what I'd want to be in. Actually, no, I'd rather not be near a Velociraptor, but neither here nor there. So up front, Mercedes 3-liter turbo diesel V6. Naturally, you know, you've got your DEF fluid and all that stuff. If you're not familiar with what that is, let me know. There's a lot to cover on this video, and I don't want to like bog people down with that stuff. But what I wanted to show you, I said there's an onboard air compressor right there, and you see that other gold-colored hookup. So one of the cool things about that is, you know, depending on, say, the mud or something like that, maybe you need to add or subtract a little air from your tires. Well, you can make sure you're not going to get stuck somewhere with a flat tire just due to air pressure, because if you bring a little air hose with you, you can air up your front or rear tires as you need, effectively. Now, this does have a carefree armless awning that comes over here on the door side, but it was really causing problems. Like, it was blocking all the sunlight, and it was really making it difficult to see anything. So apologies, I just do have that closed off for a minute. But right over here, you know, this big old sliding door. You notice, and we're going to kind of see this demonstrated in the back. You've got that, like, roll-up down screen wall. But what I want to show you is this section. You see that zipper? This section could also roll up. So if you're sitting up here, like maybe you're cutting up a couple limes, you're making yourself a little drink, putting the lime in the coconut, as it were. You could kind of pass things in and out. You could pretend you're in a high-class food truck, or you could just keep the bugs out. You could keep the airflow coming in. You've got this little clip in place. Basically, outdoor table included with this. Just add the chairs that work for you, which I think is pretty slick. And did you notice how the ladder moved? Do not climb the ladder on the on the back of this RV. That is literally only there as a transit point for the ladder. It's basically just ladder storage. The ladder actually goes over on the driver's side of the RV, as we're going to see in just a minute here. So these big double doors open up, and right now I've still got it in bed mode from when we were inside. But what's cool about this is, depending on what you're doing with it, you don't necessarily need to put that power bed up and down. Depending on what you're putting in it, you might get away with just using those cargo tie downs right there. And speaking of those things, if you take a look at these, they're like super adjustable, which I love, because I think that this is a kind of rig that could very well cater to some active lifestyle people. And I'm not sure, I think maybe you could load a kayak up the middle of this thing if it's a small one, definitely not a two-seater, but you know, bicycles, e-bikes, dog kennels, things like that. I know that my electric e-bike that I have, I would definitely like to have that thing strapped down and secured. I unfortunately dropped mine one time and broke the shifter. Thankfully, those are pretty easy to replace. Wow, why am I talking about this? You probably don't care about that. Anyway, over here, very much, you know, say like a fifth wheeler, or some trailers have that like Nautilus style docking station or wet bay, whatever you want to call it. This could be a little, you know, outside shower situation if need be, if you need a couple little cleanup things. But one of the coolest things that I'm really excited to show you over here is what's behind door number 2. Okay, so first of all, this thing right here, that's really all you're really seeing of the battery. It occupies like this entire panel, because it is a monstrously huge reserve 10.2 kilowatt lithium ion battery. That's very big. Kilo means 1,000. That's very, very large. So the thing is, you know, that will give you some serious off-grid, long-term extended feature and function of this RV. One of the big questions people have is, can I run the air conditioner? Yes, this has, I believe, a 3,500 watt inverter. That's a 13,500 BTU air conditioner. You could run that for about 10 straight hours hard off that battery. So think about it. If you're doing some parking lot hopping, that's a heck of an extended stay over. Not to mention, you could open this up like a 3-season screen room half the time and enjoy some fresh airflow. And I am getting washed out like that kid from Powder from the sun over here, but neither here nor there. The question you have then is, okay, how do I get the juice back into it? Up top on the roof, you've got 4 50-watt solar panels giving you a 200-watt factory solar package. They really couldn't put anything more up there. If you looked at that footage, you saw they basically flooded the roof with solar. If you looked really close though, there's also an additional small panel that is strictly dedicated to charging the chassis battery. So it actually has, in a sense, 2 separate solar packages, which I think is kind of cool. Another thing that's kind of cool is this has 2 separate alternator like charging systems. So when you're going down the road, yeah, when you're driving, your chassis battery is getting charged up, but there's a second system basically dedicated strictly to charging up that big Renogy battery, and about 2 hours of drive time will 100% replenish that thing. So there's 2 ways you can charge. The third way is obviously plug it into shore power, and then the system will just start charging the battery. But what about the fourth way there? When this just sits there at idle, it actually idles so low that it doesn't have enough juice to send back to the battery. If you want, you can get an aftermarket like high idle kit so that you could just sit there with the engine running, charging the battery if need be. So you're really, and I mean, you're really gonna have to go out of your way to leave yourself like stranded or without juice somewhere. But folks, where there's a will, there's a way, and I believe that I am capable and I could be just that man. But once again, whether you're looking for privacy, you're looking for airflow, 3 seasons, you've actually got like a full roll down rear wall here. But if you look at it, you see that extra zipper section in the middle there. This whole thing can roll up on the inside and give you a screen room effect just like we saw out here. But you know, I had a thought. I went looking at this, and you know, I'm more of a travel trailer park camping Midwestern boy, so I'm kind of learning my way as I go through here, and I looked at this table, and I love that it's included, but I'm like, why are there all these different height adjustment mounts to this thing? Why would I ever want it anything other than exactly how it is? What if you're not parked on a flat concrete park pad? What if the RV itself is not level? That is where I think that table comes in really handy. So it took me a minute of wrapping my head around that one. I was very, very impressed again with just the total thought and detail they put into this. And like I said, this does have not just like a privacy wall function, but an actual like screen room function that we're looking at right here. So you can keep the bugs out, you can keep the airflow in. Now I didn't totally zip up the right hand side, just to give you an idea of all the different options you have. Another thing that's very cool is they put these heavy weighted bars at the bottom of that. So, it's not gonna constantly flap hard in the breeze. And if it's breezing hard enough that's flapping, you're probably closing the door, right? Now, kind of just finishing things up out here, and then I'll let you go, folks. Notice all the power outlets. Notice the controls. When you're in bed, the control panel over there on the right-hand side. You don't have to go digging around for your phone. You don't even need to link your phone to it if you don't want to. And that is one of those heat vents, by the way, off that diesel burner kind of system that we talked about earlier. And again, the ladder. Do not use it when it's hanging off the back. Not even, I'll just get up there real quick, I'll just peek. Don't do it. The mount is not made for climbing. It's when it's off the side of the rig like this that it's made for actually getting up and down there. Notice how it actually hooks to that roof rack system effectively. And then the question I had is like, wait a minute. I don't want to screw up my paint package with this thing. Give you a little look at how it hooks up there. But notice they made it land kind of in this little bumper panel right there, so you're not gonna scuff everything up. I'm telling you, I think for coming out of the gate with this thing, personally, I feel like they did one heck of a job, and I would love to hear from you guys what you're thinking of the Jurassic Park Off-Road Motorhome series here. So once again, thanks for taking the trip down to Middlebury, Indiana for us today, although you're probably just hanging out on your phone in the bathroom, getting paid on the clock. But I know I'm not the only one, right? Anyway, don't let my boss hear that. Again, thank you for hanging out with us today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. These are just now rolling out, so I always like to leave you a link in the video description where you can check for pricing and availability. We may not have a whole lot of entries there for you yet, so don't hesitate to call our team member. We can let you know what one of these are running, get you payments or swap out a trade or whatever you need, or you can just come, take a look at one, try one on for size like a pair of pants, and we'd love to have you. So when you're ready, we're ready. Until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and best wishes from Bishes, everyone.